Biggest question that you are going to get as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a founder is, what exactly is the problem that you are solving for me? In this video, we're going to dive in with a little bit more of a precise language of what it is that you are actually solving and how you can figure it out, what the elements are that go into actually establishing this value proposition. My name is Beate Chelette. We work with visionaries and leaders and help them to scale their impact by designing journey maps, growth plans, and strategies that they can use to maximize profits and scale impact. One of the things that I get a lot in growth architecture is the difficulty a lot of you are having in articulating concisely and quickly what it is that you are bringing to the table. And so I want to share some of the tricks that I use with my private clients in my strategy days and my masterminds. There's a process I've created specifically for that, which I'll share with you. And then I will give you for absolutely free the method as a download so you can use it and follow the process. Sounds good? So here it is. The question, what problem do I solve? First begins with, who is my client? Who is this person? So you first want to go and think about this person who needs your services and get very clear about what this person needs, who they are, and what their problems are. So for example, when we worked with one of my clients who has a tutoring company, we were thinking about what the issues are that this parent is dealing with, specifically with some of the changes in education and the amount of loss of knowledge that kids had, which is on average a full academic year, specifically in math and reading. How are these parents feeling right now? So think about this for a moment. So if you have kids, now if I tell you that the data shows that your child has lost on average a full year in math and reading, how do you feel about that? So you feel upset, you feel frantic, you feel like it's your responsibility. After all, during the pandemic when people were homeschooling, that was what our job was. Maybe you failed your child. There's guilt, there's all these thoughts. So now the problem that you're solving, if we flip it, right? Because we always reverse engineer growth architecture. Now, if we flip this problem over and we say, well, now imagine, how would you talk to yourself if that is you, for you to go, oh my God, yes, I need that. So you would create a solution specifically for the problem that I just outlined for you in that exact language that you would be using. So the language that we would be using then is to say, are you a parent who feels terrible and guilty and is very concerned about that children on average have lost so much in education? You're concerned that your child might be one of these kids. And you want to help your child, but there are certain things that you don't have time for, that are not your expertise, and frankly that you shouldn't be doing, because parents are not always the best teachers for everything for their kids. I mean, we are amazing teachers, but there are areas that are frustrating to us because we are not really that good at it, or we hate it. I'm just thinking about teaching my daughter how to drive the car, which I had zero patience for and no business to do. So I had to hire a company to do that for her because she drove me absolutely insane. And I just didn't have patience for that because to me, she wasn't listening. So I'm not the right person for that. So sometimes parents are not the right people for this. So stay with this example, is that you want to be very clear that if we go by this example of who is this person that has the problem that you can solve, I want to crawl, and I call this like crawling into the head, which may sound a little bit creepy. Crawl into the head and really look around what's going on. Why are they not sleeping? In marketing, they call this what keeps them up at night, the conversation that's already in their head. How do you enter that conversation and say, hey, is this you? Can you resonate with that? So for you to now create the solution based on the problem that is, now you know, once you know what their problem is, you know exactly the solution you need to create because you understand the challenges that they're having. That's easy. So then you can say, with this deep understanding, I solve the problem that parents are having who are concerned about their children losing education and perhaps as much as a full year in their skills, in their learning skills. And I can solve that by providing tutoring services that can bridge that gap in a very short amount of time. So you see how we reversed engineered. So there were several steps, and I'm going to outline this one more time for you. So you really take this home, and then I'm going to tell you where you can pick up the Airtight Avatar guide so you can follow this process. So number one, you think about, what is it that we're solving? In this particular example, we are a tutoring company. Number two, we think about who is our actual client. It's not the kids, even though we're serving the kids, but our client is the parent. So now we are crawling into the head of the parent, of our client. We look around, we say, what are they experiencing? What are they feeling? And in my guide, I have this laid out for you, check mark, where you just check over a couple of pages. So you can, I've already done the work for you. All you have to do is just follow the path. And then you go and say, now that I know what they're experiencing, and I know what the problem is that I'm solving, now you can customize the solution so it addresses very specifically this one particular person. So let me know in the comments if this makes sense, because I want to make sure this sticks. This is a really critical foundational piece in growth architecture. It's our first step in the 5-star success blueprint. This is the piece. Without that, you can't build the foundation. You have to know who your client is. You have to know what's going on in their head. That's the only way for you to build an offer that will solve that problem. And that gives you the language where you can say the problem that I'm solving is for worried, stressed parents who want to make sure that their children are not falling behind and that are catching up on the gap that we know that exists because of the challenging ways we had to address education while we were in the pandemic. And now that we're out of it, hopefully out of it for good, how are we going to address this? We give parents an actionable item that they can do right now, today, to help their children to bridge that gap and not lose any educational value, so that future image, they can be competitive and they can land their dream job, and their education is up to par with having a fair shot at getting the best jobs and building their very best careers and lives. So that is it for me for today. And the URL you want to go to is airtightavatar.com. Just download the guide and follow this to the T. It's super easy. Just do the check marks, fill it out, and then you will have your airtight avatar. And then look at that and decide, what does this tell you about your client? And then you look at your language and say, does the language that I'm using address clearly and concisely what I will give these people so that it solves that problem? And voila, there you go. And you got it figured out. So again, it is airtightavatar.com. And my name is Beate Chelette. I'm the growth architect. If you find this video valuable, please tell other people, one other person, send it to one other person who can benefit from this information, and leave a comment below, like this video. I'd appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, and goodbye.